Wake up, it's that time again. The sun's not here, but we're on again. Grab your coffee, grab your crystals and gather round. It's not lunch, it's not breakfast, it's the time we found. For brunch, well maybe we're busy. For brunch, maybe we're lazy. For brunch, well maybe it's conquest. For brunch, or a real request. But brunch is the time that we make for each of us, where we ask Egnards dumb stuff, because brunch will always be the special time for Egnards and for me.
All right, good morning. Welcome to brunch. I feel normal now because 2 weeks ago I wasn't here. Last week I had to deal with sin. Oh, sin. The other sin, the not as good sin. No, I'm just kidding, sin. I love you. I do. And I was sick all week and it was awful. And today I feel pretty good, other than the fact that my Broncos are not in the Super Bowl. Very sad about that. It's okay. We did very well. I'm happy with our progress as a team. How is everybody doing this morning? Oh my God, that is delicious. That is the first time I've had coffee in a while too. Ooh, I'm starting to get better. I'm starting to feel better. Yesterday was the first day that I felt like pretty damn good. Today, I feel just slightly sniffly, but otherwise I feel fine. So I'm happy about that. We have a lot on the agenda today. We've got TB. We have the raid, which just popped yesterday. We have a lot of roster reviews to get caught up on. Anytime I have to skip a week for brunch, I fall so behind on the roster reviews, and then it takes me 3 months to get caught up on them, and then we get into this pattern where I fall behind again. I do appreciate the love from those of you who believed in me to be able to set up my own stream correctly. You would think that I could do that by now, and you would be wrong. Every morning is a clusterfuck of just trying to figure things out. All right, let's see what we got going, shall we? Brunch and gameplay. Here we go. Let's see what's up here. We have TB now. Oh, I already did that. Okay. We have TB. My guild started a new plan in TB. It is very ambitious. It is very scary. I have never done this before. We are probably not going to hit a new star goal this event because of it. But this plan should get us to 48 in the next, I'd say 3 to 4 cycles. We're just working out some kinks on the platoons and figuring out where our combats need to be right now. And I think we're... There's Storm. Storm, I got a brand new camera just for you. Let's see, first 6:30. We're doing okay, though. For our first time doing this, we are not doing terrible. I wish people would maybe do a little bit better at getting their platoons in, because if they got their Malguses in, it seems like the only character we don't have ready for Hoth is Han. And honestly, if we got there and Han was the only one left, I would strongly consider doing it myself, just for the sake of doing it. Let's check out what our goals are for today. You already. Good, man. I'm glad. 730 minus 612. So we need 118 there. plus 583 minus 328. So we need 373 there. Well, actually, I'm going to take that out of the equation for right now. 118 plus 396 minus 338. So we need 176 there. Plus 730 minus 238. So you need about 668 to hit where we really want to hit. Out of 416 left. So we're at a negative 252. That's not great for today. But I think we're going to be fine. Even if we lose one, even if we miss one, I'm not too worried about it. If we drop two, I'm not too worried about it. We had, where is it? Day 3. Day 3, we should not have missed. Right? We were so damn close to that, and somebody just kind of messed it up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we should be there very soon. All right, let's just see what these combats look like today, because we got to work through them, and we got to figure it out. We have to change up my whole day plan. Exactly. I'm not worried about dropping stars today. I'm not at all, Bodhi. Morning, Ani. People have been, like, figuring it out, and they've been confused. It's actually been fun. Because I've had to play with different teams in earlier days, and I like throwing Gungans at a higher day and throwing New Batch at like Zepho. So it has been interesting having to play differently. We're gonna jump around like completely today. Bodhi, we're actually using this event now to capture the hot utils platoons for exactly that reason. So we're doing platoons manually today, and I have one of my other officers who's capturing all of the platoons that get put in, so that we're going to do exactly that for the next event. TP. Shadow, listen, we're going to make a TB player out of you at some point. One day you're going to be like, you know what? I don't like GAC anymore. This is the one, right? Yeah, there we go. Morning, F1. Whew. Alright, there's my first 1.5 for the day. Never. If someone misses tickets, they volunteer. I always end up being the one. One of my guild members, one of my officers screwed up yesterday. And he platooned his Relic 9 Bad Batch Echo to a non-star territory. So guys, for those of you that don't know, if your guild is starring territories and not starring territories, always prioritize the starring territories when doing your platoons. So all of that is to say that I now have a Relic 9 Bad Batch Echo because I didn't want to miss that platoon and drop another star. Let's see, I gotta do that. Era battles. I'll tell you what. Let's talk era battles right after TB. We'll put on the solo camera. Right after TV, we're gonna have a conversation about era battles. Yeah, we're jumping around. Let's do Mandalore here. Where's the Mandalore one? Thought I had one. Guess not. Grab your butt, fleet of me. Oh, because it's in rote. That's why. There it is. Ba-da-da. For lunch. Ba-da-da-da-da. Brunch. Jeremy, it happens. It's just you have to train your people, and it happened to us this event, and so now I have an R9 that I didn't want, and it is Shadow Man. We're gonna talk about it. We are right after TB. I need to concentrate on TB today because I need to maximize my points. I say as I auto the battles, but I want to talk about era battles. And I need more than 3 minutes to do that. Because I want to get everybody on the same page. And I was going to do a video about them. But once the math changed, I just decided not to do the video. Speedy, that Zeta bundle that just came out, the one you're referring to, if I remember correctly, it's like $19 for a minimum of 20 Zetas. That's actually, from my understanding, and I'm just looking at it from the top of my head, is not a bad value at all. Generally, the accepted value is $1 per Zeta. Per Zeta material, that is. And that gives you... I don't know the exact EV because I did not do a analysis on it yet. I do need to. But from looking at it, it looks to be a very solid value for people who really need Zetas. Well, Jeremy, I mean, I'm in a brand new star plan, and look, no hands. See? No hands. We're not... We're feigning paying attention here. Morning, Kimmy. That's why I don't, This is why, so people always ask me to talk to Meathead, and I always joke that I have a very specific amount of Meathead currency, and I build up that Meathead currency, and I use it on very, very specific things, right? So, like, era battles was one of those very specific things where I was like, hey, I need to find out an answer to this because people need to know, and people need to be able to figure this shit out. I am told that this is, like, the easiest CM in the game. On Hoth. Home one. My God. I did use it on bundles availability for you. I did. I have reached out to Meathead a few times on your behalf for whaling purposes. Yeah, I've been told this is like the easiest CM in the game, and that like any fleet could beat it. Okay, so let's concentrate here, right? I have Mandalore. So the way that I've been trying to approach this is using characters and teams that I don't have at an R9 so that I don't waste them, right? So for example, here, my Spectre team, my day 6 is a mess because my day 6 is Well, it's from a different day 6. Let's actually change this. It's now 5M 5M 6-5. So we need a Spectre team. Get rid of all these so I don't get confused. The LS can stay. Let's get a Spectre team here. Mandalore open. Right? It's always important to have tabs, guys. Always so important to have tabs. Does Meathead make you sing? Yeah, so it's very funny. What I was actually joking with the PMs that you saw. The day before I had messaged him and about the era battles to figure it out. And he didn't respond to me, so I sent him a voice note that was like the theme of Dawson's Creek. And I don't remember the exact words, but it was like, I don't want to wait for Meathead to answer me. I just want to know right now. It was something like that. And about 45 minutes later, he started laughing and he gave me my answers. So that's why. That's why I had, in those PMs, said something about me singing to him. So you'll notice, Shara, I do the same exact thing. Now, I type in, like, the name of the CM or open. Open is, like, if I don't care what CM it gets used on, as long as it can be used by any team. But, like, in my day 2 plan, it'll say, like, DS Reek, DS Accolade. So that I don't have to think at all. The only reason I have to think today is I have to reset this. User, is Storm's R10 priority the same as yours, where he has like 10 of them and I just tell you you have all of the good ones, but here are some options if you want to do some mediocre ones? So Adis, that's a great option if you're doing it like on a day that is not a TB day, to use the unique thing. For me, I always set up my tabs while I'm doing TB, so it kind of makes it not so much of an issue, because I go in and I look at it and I say, oh, okay, this is what I need, this is what I have. Here, we're going to jump back over to Ring. Let's get Jar Jar in there. My JML is still R8. My JML, the only time JML is going to R9 is to bypass it to R10. He will never stay at R9. It'll not happen, ever. I think it depends on how people think. For me, I need to see things in front of me to think. So I always wait for TB to actually do the things. Oh, shit. Man, they have been, like, gunning hard for the shield generator lately. Really hard. Thoughts on D-Revan at R10? Listen, I don't personally think that R10 D-Revan is anything more than a quality of life thing. Some people do it as a quality of life to make their fleet climb a lot less, not hard, like it's not hard, but it's something where you don't have to think anymore, like, because you can auto from the beginning. And especially because you are in an earlier shard, you'll probably have people less likely to also do it. But I don't really necessarily think it's a necessary thing. What is the crystal value of a Kyber LST? That's a very hard question because you have to think of, you know, if you talk about the store value of gear, you could say that the crystal value of a Kyber LST is tens of thousands. But if you think about the price, right? So a Kyber LST, which is, I think, $19, then you're looking at about 3,000 crystals, which is not, which is like, wow, that's really, really small. Just moving around. I know. I don't know who to do as my... Well, I think Darth Maul is going to be my first R10 who's like not just for fun. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the era battles in a minute. Because I do have an explanation for that. But I do want to get through TB first. Oh my god. Whew. Yes. No, I mean, spider leg's Maul. I mean, I thought you guys, like, come on, guys. I wouldn't say Darth Maul and be like, oh, a useful one. And mean the old Darth Maul. Holy shit. Well, that's because the game is sectioned out now, right? So, and I as much as I've talked about this ad nauseum now, but CG, as much as I have no love for the veteran fatigue that's kind of happening now with old whales and spending and how they're changing the rules. What is basically happening is CG is catering the game to a newer generation, and look, it's a smart business move. It'd be much fun. I already did a whole Gungan team. Cut me some slack. Thank God. I really need to get my speeds up on these guys. My Jedi Master Mace Windu team is not great. Yeah. All right. Well, 1 of 2. Fine. My team there is not a great team. I need my Jedi Master team to have better everything. Let's throw these guys in. Who can we throw in? I'm not bringing Ayla to R9. My Ayla's like R3. Yes, my Gungans are the first, I told you, are the first R10, full R10 Gungan team in the game. We have that confirmed. We did the research. We looked on .gg. We found every owner of Gungan Bombardier so that we could confirm that I was the owner of the first team. We're going to throw gas in. I think gas makes more sense than cup. I'm not R10ing Ayla. It's not happening. Or R9. I don't have the resources right now. Next week, I have a lot of resources that have to go out. I've already burned all of my resources. Everything that I need to spend is already spent. I have no signal data. I might have to do an R9 Han Solo today if everybody gets their other platoons in. Not super easy to peer pressure. I know I can't. R9 Han will happen today only if I need to do it. If it'll actually materially help my guild star-wise, I will do it. But if it's not going, which is why I'm waiting, which is why I haven't done it yet. But if it will help, I will do it. This is why I'm terrible at hoarding in this game, because anytime I have resources, if my guild needs something, I do end up doing it. In the new era battle, Shara, once we finish TB, we're going to have a whole discussion on the era battle. So give us like 10 minutes to figure this out. And we're going to have a very big discussion on it. No, you know what? I'm a guild player. I want to help the guild. I want us to move ahead. And I think that at my level of guild, and Bodhi can kind of confirm this too, but when you get to a certain level of guild, you have to be a team player. Yeah, so the guy who didn't platoon the GI properly is Moonborn. Right? And Moonborn is my one of my best friends in the game, and he also does all my graphics. So we were giving him shit just for the sake of giving him shit. We were being silly for the sake of, you know, being silly. I wanted to help him out though, because he's a good guy and he does a lot for me. Somebody asked about IPD and how it'll affect missions in TB. The reality is we don't know, because sometimes CG does not update the computer version and keeps it the same to not mess with things. They did that with General Grievous in the past. So we really don't know if it'll even alter TB at all. Will I R11 all my Gungans? I will. Yep, it will happen. They will all go there. Yeah, I mean, Moonborn and I, we're very silly with each other. I just saw your message on Discord, Sub. Hopefully, I mean, we always end by noon, so honestly, I know just based on our conversation yesterday. Exactly. Things happen. You know, when it comes to mistakes, I'm okay with them as long as we learn from them is really what it is. If you kick out every person in your guild who's ever made a mistake, like I have screwed up before. I have messed up a platoon before. It happens all the time. All right, 1st to 6:30. We are gonna let's see. Do I want to bring this up higher? 33. Let's bring this to 675. Actually. still need people to do their platoon. It's okay. Missing a star happens. You just don't want it to happen a lot. All right, we're going to keep... Egg makes boo-boo sometimes. What had happened, if I remember correctly, I platooned... Mandalore, DTMG. I platooned my Hoth Rebel soldier to the wrong territory once, to one that we were not starring. What's our star target? Honestly, people in my guild keep asking me what's the plan for today, and I'm like, this is a new plan, and I don't know. Our normal star target is 45. I will be happy if we hit 43 today, because we did miss 1 star in day 3 that we shouldn't have missed. One of our guild members apparently fell asleep while doing CMs or something. I don't know. But this specific strategy will get us to 48. So it's important that we start learning the combats and the strategy now. Man. Bodhi, like, I would be very annoyed if these platoons weren't filled if it wasn't a brand new planet. I would definitely be a lot more angry than I am, because, like, Han Solo I know is unfillable. But the Malguses should be fillable. The Maul should be fillable. So what happened for the change in new plans? Basically, in day 3, we're going to go for all 3 of the planets and try to 3-star all of them. That is the biggest change in the plan. And once you take that change in, we're making Zepho a 3-day CM instead of a 2-day CM. Mandalore a 3-day planet instead of a 2-day planet. And using more of the preload. And moving higher into the R9 planets, which means not as many people are ready for the CMs, because it's more difficult to get there. Costing the kill the star is normally an auto boot. I have a soft spot for a lot of guild members. This is a guild member who has been with us for like 5 years. We actually have a guy whose specific job is bootings because I refuse to do it. It's the one thing that I literally just cannot do. It is my weakness. But we write it down. So like I wrote it down in our little list so I can keep track of if he does it again in the next, like 6 months. And if he does, then we got to get rid of him. Snorlax. So a lot of guilds use that. You're talking about hot utils. A lot of guilds use that in the past, but you needed to be a paid member. So it was kind of useless if you didn't have a lot of paid members in your guild. They just changed that. So now all members of your guild can use it as long as they have a game connection. This specific TB, we're doing it manually to capture all of the platoons so that we can see what the platoons are. And then next TB, we are planning to use the auto feature to make platooning a lot easier. Shara, I've been recruiting for my guild for about 5-6 years now, and it's so much effort, it's so much time, it's a pain in the ass. Thankfully now I have like this platform, and having this platform has definitely helped, because now people want to be in my guild and I can say, hey, we have an opening. But in the past, I remember having to reach out to people, chat with people, and it was just such a long, painstaking process. Let's do clones. What is this? All their allies. Let's find out if LV can do this on auto. Let's see. What coffee am I drinking? I think that this is just Dunkin', honestly. My wife works from home. She buys the beans because sometimes I'll make coffee at home, sometimes I won't. She is more of a Starbucks person than a Dunkin' person. But she has been on a spendthrift kick lately because we've had so many stupid bills come up. So I'm pretty sure these are just Dunkin' beans. Shadow Man, we are different in a lot of ways, but we are also very similar in a lot of ways. That sometimes happens that way, Shara, is like somebody comes in and I go, oh, hey, I got this opening, and they go, oh, I don't want to leave this guild that I just joined, like, oh, that sucks. And then I have to find somebody new. Nice. Perfect. Don't forget the floss. Do I got food in my teeth? Clones. Let's put clones on DS, right? So we confirmed we've done this. DS open. Confirmed. That's what we do, Warlock. Like I try to be as lazy as I possibly can about helping people. Like I want to help people, but also I'm kind of like, let's get shit done. You're all adults. So I try to be as hands off as I possibly can. All right, I guess I have to use Hondo here. Someone's zooming in. Yeah, my new camera can zoom now, which is kind of cool. I bought it yesterday morning. Huge upgrade on my old one. Super excited about it. Had some fun setting it up yesterday. Well, the problem is, Snorlax, that for me, a lot of the times I don't know when I'm going to have an opening, and people do reach out to me, and I put them on waiting lists, and I tell them, like, hey, I might be able to get you in. You know, I don't know if I have any openings right now, and it can sometimes take a while. And then what ends up happening is right when I turn someone away, I say, all right, you know, I can't take you in. I don't have an opening. And then right after I turn them away and they find a new guild, I have 2 people message me saying they're quitting the game. That happens without fail every single time. It's really annoying. I appreciate it, Shadow. Well, at our level of guild, Snorlax, at the high end, there's generally a waiting list, I feel like. In the mid-level, there are usually, like, alts in guilds, and things need to be figured out. But at this level, if you want to get into the guild you want to get into, you got to put in your name. And I love when I have a waiting list because it makes my life so much less stressful. What generally ends up happening is they'll reach out to me and they say, I'm not happy with my guild. Is there an opening? And I'll say, you know, there isn't right now. I can find you a temporary guild, or you can wait out. And some people choose to find a temporary guild. Some people will find a guild and they'll say, hey, I'm only going to be in here for a little while. And their guild members, their guild mates are happy to do that just because they're maybe in a situation where that where they could use the help. All right. I don't have Mother Talzin because she's not R9 yet. We're just throwing randoms in here. I don't know. Let's try that. Let's see what happens. I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, and you know what? User, for your waves, it's not so bad because your guild is going into very, very, very high TBs. Planets, like my guild is. And you don't have cohesive R9 teams yet. So it is actually not a big... It is a pretty big deal to get to that 120 with where you're at right now. I'm honestly just surprised. Zavor. Zavor is my new, hey, do you have a temporary slot person? It used to be Ani. But now Ani's in my guild, so I can't even do that anymore. I wonder if... Oh, you can't use the ult, I guess. This might actually work. We do Sex Noise Jabba? Sex Noise Jabba might work here. Is 44 stars a lot? I mean, 44 stars is like average for a guild at the higher end. My guild is, I mean, normally we do 45. Wow, I didn't think that was gonna work. I would expect, honestly, a guild at your level, Shadow, doing like 48, though. But like, do the TB rewards really matter? Not really. So where did their HP go? On Malachor, there is a thing where the head guy, right? You can drain your other allies a max health, and you gain offense for each character drained. So the opponent can do that, and you can do that. So basically, the opponent drained all of his friends and got us to a 2-2, which is nice, right? Very nice. I don't think I have any more CMs that I can do because, yeah, 675. No deploys here. I'm still waiting here patiently for some of these ops. 675. This next one will go. What do we have left? 392. So this can go to 600. All right. We're still in the 600 mil. I think that we will hit 700 once the era change is over, right? I think we'll get about 7 to 10 million GP from that. Let's just check what my store is looking like. Just buy, honestly, just random shit at this point. Anything good? That. Anything here? No, no. Okay, let's talk era battles, right? So era battles. I was gonna do a video on this, and I decided not to because I kind of actually already have a video on era battles, and it was a little bit outdated, but now it makes more sense than ever. And if you remember when era battles first came out, people were not super happy about them because we were used to the new style of of Assault Battle. We were used to Peridia Patrol. I am doing the full face thing just to show off the new camera. Exactly. We were we were used to Peridia Patrol. We were used to Duel of the Fates, and we're like, wait a second, this is not permanent. And people kind of shifted on era battles because the clone one was really nice if you got in early. The Jedi Master Mace Windu one had crystals attached if you got in early. The Pyro, like, they were all really, really nice, right? And now we're getting to one that's, it seems like it's going to be like half the value because you're only getting 6 battles per instead of 12 battles per. We have to think of this. If you remember a video I made about a year ago called, I don't know if paraphrased because I don't know if this is the exact video title, but that we are out of the era of return on investment and we are in the era of rebates. And these new era battles become a rebate, not a return on investment. So when we first found out about this era battle and we saw the rewards and we thought it was going to be 12, I was like, holy shit. As an end game player, I need these characters right now because I will get a return on my investment and I will get some of this free for all of the materials that are limiting for me. I won't get it for circuit boards. I won't get it for Zimbital crystals, Electrum conductors, or rhodium heat sinks. None of that is relevant to me. The things that are relevant to me are droid brains, gear to keypads, servo motors, coaxial servo motors. That's the stuff that is important. And I said to myself, like, especially with the crystals and getting about 50,000 crystals, hey, I can spend like 30,000 crystals to get these characters to all R9 and Maul to R10, and I will make out like a bandit on these era battles. And then, of course, I reached out to Meathead, and I'm glad that I reached out to Meathead, and we found out that instead of 12 and 12, it's actually 6 and 6, and people started to flip out. And I understand why they're flipping out. I think I'm not mad about it. It makes it so that I'm not going to bring them to tier 8. But I'm not mad about it. Yes, Nomer. It is 6 and 6 now, not 12 and 12. That is confirmed by Meathead. And I have the screenshots. I posted them on Reddit. I posted them on Discord. They're there. I think that the smart thing to do... Now, if you're a user, right? So user likes to buy things. He likes to spend at his store. If you're a user, yes, bring them all to R9. And bring Maul to R10. And you're going to win out. And you're going to use all of those characters. And you're going to get... not a return on your investment, but you're going to get a decent chunk of it back. For me, okay, you know what? I dropped the pen. I caught it with my foot, and I grabbed it without it hitting the floor. So that's actually kind of impressive, Caleb. For me, I think that what I'm going to do is I'm bringing Maul to R10, right? I think I only need him to R9. Let's find it out. Yeah, I only need him at R9, but I think I'm going to bring him to R10 because I just feel like he's going to be a very strong character. And Meathead said that tier 4 to tier 7 are open relics, which means that any relic level can go into those tiers, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. So I am going to feed off of guys like Scribe, who are 6 hours ahead of me, and who is going to bring all these guys to R9, and he's going to figure out the smart way to do tier 7. And I'm going to determine, like, if I can do tier 7 with just Maul and maybe one other character or 2 other characters, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to maximize my tier 7. I'm not going to bother going to tier 8. I don't think it is worth it for me as a player. Because if we look at these era characters, right? Like, Stormtrooper Luke, I'm probably not going to get. I'm probably not going to get much use out of. We might find a weird team that he works in, but I personally, as an endgame player, am probably not going to get a ton of use out of him. Inquisitor Barriss, I'm probably not going to get a ton of use out of her. I'm probably going to get some use, but probably not a ton of use. Asajj Ventress, my Scion Dadbot is still G12. He's one of like 6 characters that I have that are still G12. And I'm pulling up my screen, and you guys can't even see it. So a lot of these characters are probably going to stay at like R7 for me. R7 being the baseline as an endgame player. If I can do tier 7 with like with Maul plus 1 R9, and then the light side tier, you need Maul, but you can't bring in Maul. So maybe like 2 R9s, because Yoda, Chewie and Yoda, I'm bringing to R9 just for fun. Then I'm gonna maximize my tier 7. But I think that for most people, tier 8 does not make as much sense right now. And I think that people need to start seeing era battles, unless you're user. People need to start seeing era battles as, okay, what characters are useful to me? Use the era battles to elevate what is useful to you as a player, and get some of your investment back for the characters that you are using anyway. Now, the one thing that I will say is kind of nice about these era battles is that for the free-to-play player, for the very basic spender, there is a new tier for shards. Normally, there is a tier 1 and a tier 2 for shards, and now there is a tier 3 for shards. So what that means is you'll probably get about the same amount of shards as a 12 and 12 as you were getting with a 6 and 6, but you'll get it done faster, which might be important for players when it comes to raid prep, right? When we have to worry about raid prep in the future. So when it comes to the era battles, I'm not mad about it. I understand why people are mad about it. I think that we were lucky when there was like a return on investment, like with the Bounty Hunter one, where if you did it right away, it was free. It just means that people need to be a lot more careful about spending on it. Now, the one thing I am really disappointed about, though, is that CG is getting themselves into the same issue that they have had before. And that is that they set up a standard for what something means. They change what it means without communicating it. So like assault battles, when Peridia Patrol came out and they're like, by the way, we're going to start rotating assault battles, and everyone flipped out. And that was because we had this expectation of 8 years of assault battles stay around forever. Now we have been in a full year of era battles, and they have explained the cadence of era battles. And they are completely changing the cadence of era battles. And they are relying on people like me to get the word out. But my community is very small compared to CG. And I know Scribe and I were talking because he and I both tagged our own Discord communities within like a minute of each other, because we were both talking to Meathead about the same thing at the same time. A lot of people like Nomer, who popped in and was like, wait a second, I didn't know about this. Those people are going to get fucked when they go in expecting a 12 and 12 cadence. And they don't get that 12 and 12 cadence because they don't follow me on Discord, right? Because they get their news only in game. And that can be a real problem. And I do think that CG needs to step up their communication to players. And I've joked about this on Zeta Protocol last week. I said it, Meathead, send me the post in advance. Let me look at the post and I will ask you all of the questions that the community is going to ask you for. I will pinpoint all of the clarification points that the community is going to want from you and that are necessary from you, right? Not just want, but that are necessary from you. Because there are a lot of people who are spending their money. I know in my members chat in Discord, people were talking about bringing their characters up and spending more so that they didn't have to worry about relic materials. And they were going, wait a second, let me bring Maul to 95 and this character 95 so that they're at relic 6 so that I can do this so that I don't have to worry about signal data. Who are spending money in preparation for these era battles, and they are going to get be very disappointed, and they are going to get fucked if they do not know about this change. And that is a problem. The Egnards asked questions. Yes, change it to the Egnards ask questions. I have proven myself as a reliable source, right? Like, I help out with them. I do what I can. I know how to keep a secret. I know how to keep information private and only share what I'm allowed to share. Send it to me. Let me pinpoint and pick it apart. In the past, some of you might remember in the old Road Ahead days, there was a Road Ahead that I completely rewrote. And I threw it on Reddit as a completely rewritten post. And everyone was like, wow, now this makes sense. It's so much better than the one CG did. And I'm not knocking Meathead's posting because I don't know how many rounds of edits it goes through from the corporation. But there are a lot of points that end up getting confused because they're not thought about from the player perspective. That would be nice, right, Con Warlock? The Road of Head. That'd be great. The Road of Head. Drumstick. For the newer whales, the Zetas are amazing. Yeah, so that new pack, that $18 one where you get 20 no matter what, that gives you a great value. I would highly recommend the Zeta Amplifier Cache for anybody who is a newer whale. And I would buy it all 3 times. Completely honestly. I'm not going to knock Meathead's writing style because I don't know how much of it is him versus how much gets dumbed down. He could, for all I know, he writes an amazing post and then 4 people in the corporation say to him, hey, this has to be changed. And then the post looks completely different. Meathead is honestly a very nice guy. He sometimes ghosts me. I can be a pain in the ass, but he is a good guy. I give him a lot of credit. He has to deal with the community. The community can be very toxic and we can be repulsive sometimes. So I really don't want to say it's him, but they do need somebody asking the player questions. There was some other question about this that I wanted to highlight, but now, Xander, breaking news, Scribe leads, Egg follows. Xander, I don't know if you watch SNL, but one of my favorite SNL bits is when Sarah Sherman completely annihilates Colin Jost on Weekend Update. Like, completely just tears him down as like a sexist just for the sake of being white, for being a pig. And it is, Xander, you are my Sarah Sherman because you knock me down at every possible point. And it is very funny. And if I didn't know any better, I would say that just you are Sarah Sherman. What should Storm R10 next? Do I even have Storm's account? I don't even know what Storm's account is. We can link Storm's account if he really wants. But I mean, he's got more R10s for you. What could he possibly need? Yeah, I need to do one on the Zeta stuff, on the packs that need to be bought and not bought. And some people are interesting because they write things like, I would never spend. Okay, I mean, this video is not for you. I'm not telling you to spend. I'm telling you if you spend, this is a good value, right? That's what my spending related ones are. Where's the cat? The cats have not joined me today. The door is slightly ajar. They could push it up. The cat has not chosen to join me yet, but you will hopefully see her soon. I was just... And even... oh, I thought she actually did. Yeah, so... Listen, that's what I got on the era battles. I'm not as mad as other people, but I do think that there are communication breakdowns that they really, really, really need to address in order to get the players on board with things. And that has always been my biggest criticism of them, is communication points. And I have joked in the past that there are some meathead posts and there are some meathead edits of posts that are specifically, very specifically, because I reached out and I said, hey, I need answers to these questions. User, store image is really disturbing. Listen, here's the deal. I don't need any of this, right? I have every Zeta in the game. I have every shard. I could use the Omicrons, honestly, but I don't really need them. None of this is useful to me as anything other than relic scrap, and you can't even relic scrap some of this stuff. The stuff that I have 300 of, I can. I have every Omega. I've got 2,000 of them. I don't need any of those things. Zetas, don't need them. There's nothing in this store that is useful to me other than Omicrons. It is the only thing that is useful to me. I guess Cantina Energy, I could use the signal data. If there was like a signal data ascension pack here, then I would strongly consider a signal data ascension pack, but this is all shit for me. Even here, relic ascension, I don't need. It's not worth it at this price. I mean, actually, it's pretty cheap, but I just need the signal data. But 95% of the packs in the store are just not useful to me anymore. Let's see. Just keep clicking and hoping. No, we're still here. All right, I have to reset my game connection real fast, just so I can send out a tag. So we're gonna reset that, and then we're gonna go into the raid. Oh shit. All right, so let's see. That should reset my game connection, I think. I'm actually not sure because I forgot to hit update. Maybe it won't. Yeah, I didn't hit update. Let's go into the raid. See what the raid is looking like. I know there's a lot of people waiting for their roster reviews. He keeps tagging you because he wants me to tell you what to R10 next. And I could tell you what to R10 next, but I feel like you probably have every useful R10, don't you? Between Broken Vader and Spider-Man, what do you think the order of Zeta Omicron should be? I was thinking of doing Maul's unique Zeta and Omicron, then maxing Vader's abilities, and then cycling back to finish Maul's Zetas. Phil, I'd have to look. I'm at such a place in the game where I've been at a place in the game for the last 2.5 years where I don't even look at what's a Zeta and what's a not a Zeta anymore, because I get them all. So it kind of makes it hard for me when I look at them to say, oh, what is useful right now? And the other half of that is, what do you have? You know, for me, I feel like Vader, not Vader. I feel like Maul is one of those characters where if you're gonna use Maul, you should just max Maul. It seems kind of silly to me not to. And to keep him at not high strength. He is a character that I do think is going to be useful to players, even not maxed. Oh, I can actually do this now. There we go. I think that he's going to be a character that you can throw into your team at 4 stars. And it's not going to be amazing at 4 stars, but he's going to still put in work at 4 stars. Any new silly from Philly. There's some interesting stuff going on in that I can't talk about just yet, Xander. But I talk to... look, me and Phil talk all the time. I talked to him yesterday because it was Peridia Patrol Day. And Peridia Patrol Day, he messages me every Peridia Patrol Day because he's wrong. Oh, for the push-ups? Oh, boy. You get those push-ups in HD now. This camera does go to 4K. But I'm concerned about my internet speed at 4K. And I really do need to upgrade my internet, but that's also costly. So maybe one day you'll get Egg in 4K. You got lucky yesterday. We are almost at a record number of Brunch users right now. I think our record for Brunch is 101 people between 2 platforms. Right now we are 91, which is nice. I like when we get like close to those new milestones. It's always fun. Oh man, Sin, I wish. I'm paying so much. When I lived in my old apartment, Verizon and Optimum were in the same area. I was paying $25 a month for 200 megabytes, 200 Mbp whatever s, which is not a lot. It's small, but I wasn't streaming at the time, and it was perfect for what I needed. Where I moved, there's only Optimum. So now I'm paying $70 a month for 300. Which sucks. I'm so very patiently waiting for Verizon to come to the area so that I can have some competition here. That would be super, super, super nice for me. Because right now I'm paying 70 for like the 300. And if Verizon came to the area, I could probably get gig internet for like 50 once they start competing with each other. But you know how it is. When they're not competing, they're like, oh, hey, we're not, just screw you. I know I'm clear right now, but I'm not, I don't have the camera in a 4K resolution. I was nervous about it last night, so I pumped the resolution up from where I usually am. But I kept it below that just to keep us safe. I have Stranger Max, so I guess, yeah, I give him all, but only do 1 Omni for them, do Vader's after, hoping Vader lives up to the Elite Marquee standard. If he does, So, Phil, again, I think if you have Stranger at 7 stars, Maul will still play a role. In general, listen, it depends on what your guild does for territory wars. I'm probably not giving Maul any Omicrons because it's a territory wars Omicron and it's a shit game mode. Yeah, when I was paying like 25 because Verizon had a deal where if you were a cell phone, one of their cell phone customers, you got internet for $25. And Optimum matched that for me, even though I wasn't an Optimum cell phone owner. Why is TW a bad mode? Because it is the only game mode that that requires you to be on call. Every other game mode you can do on your own time. TW requires you to continuously pay attention, and the rewards are not even that good. So at the end game, there are a couple guilds who like do it, but a lot of guilds just kind of coast. And my guild is one of those guilds that just kind of coasts. Does my cat play fetch? My cat used to play fetch. We had these little mice things we called them OGs. And they had like a little bell in them and we would throw them and she would run and get them and bring them to our bed and it was adorable. But she doesn't really play fetch anymore. She's still kind of young. But she doesn't play. My other cat, my fat one, she has this big carrot toy and she likes to pick up the carrot and bring it wherever she goes and just drop it off for us. But she won't like fetch it or anything. All right, we are running hot utils. So we are going to break our game connection for a minute while we load up some mods. Yeah, it's not a game mode that it's a game mode that needs some major changes. Why is TB a bad mode? TB is not a bad mode, it's just a boring mode. Once you get to a certain point, it's, you know, it becomes like, what is the point of this mode? Please help us. Load order 66. Please help us to spend less time on it when we have like day 1 and 2. Don't make me do day 1 and 2. Day 1 and 2, my guild has solved. You know, like it's not worth it. Your guild benefits from coasting guilds, but the coasting guilds, like, they don't care. You know, especially now that droid brains can be converted for, I literally do not care. Half of the time, I completely forget to set my defense until, like, the last hour. And I go, oh, right, I have to set my defense. When everybody chimes in what? In TW? Because the problem with that is most guilds in this game are global guilds. And if you're in a global guild, like, half of my guild is in Germany. They're sleeping when TB starts. It's too much time, effort, and energy for too little of a thing. Con Warlock, I've brought that up to Meathead before. I've said to him, we need a TW preset. It would have to change maybe a little bit. I don't know, but I have I have told him, like, it is one of my least favorite things to do in this game is to set those. Slan, I would hate that. I love you, but I would hate that. And the reason I would hate that is because it would mean that I would actually have to do my TW combats on day 1. right? Because you would want to get as much to that planet as possible. I don't want... The only thing that makes Hell Week not the most miserable thing in the world is the fact that on day 1 of TB, I don't have to do anything. Nomer, it depends, you know, just by the function of playing the game, does the CG benefit? No. But by the function of we're more likely to spend if we're playing more, do they benefit? Then the answer is yes. But there's a fine line where you're frustrating your player base too much, where they stop playing, right? So you have to find the point where your game can say, hey, we want you playing the game, and we want you a little bit frustrated, but we don't want you too frustrated, because then you don't play. Slan, but it wouldn't be 2 or 3 CMs, because you're a TB guild, I'm a TB guild. What would you do? You'd make all of your members do all of their CMs to maximize all of your combats going to that new planet. So now I would need to do all of my combats in day 1 so that I could make sure that I got as a maximum possible to whatever that day is. Look at Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is very different because they also do something else different, right? They are very big into advertising. They spend a ton of money on content creators and content creator advertising to keep their game big. And they're okay with full-on licensing. Disney doesn't do that, right? So Disney is never going to put this game and say, oh, the Ninja Turtles are here. Oh, Assassin's Creed is here. Oh, fucking Charlie XCX is here, which I think Fortnite, no, they did Chappelle Roan, right? Raid benefits pretty heavily from being in a position... I think I messed that up. No, did I? Nice. Raid benefits from being an open IP where they can do all of those things. And that is part of it. But also they spend a lot of money on advertising in hopes that their advertising is going to pay off. Like, you're not a content creator if you have not been reached out to by Raid. Raid reaches out to me like every 4 weeks. Those kind of calculators should be illegal. I remember in WoW doing like /played in WoW and seeing those timers go up in real time and being like, oh god. And now there are players in WoW whose like played time is actually... Oh, fuck, I messed that up. Damn it. Pressed the wrong button. Shit. Whatever, I only need to get 2 waves, it doesn't matter. As long as I can get the second wave, we are good. Look, I'm excited for the Super Bowl tonight, even though my team is not in it. It's gonna be so annoying if I don't get 2 waves because I messed it up. Come on. Yep, I messed it up. That's... Damn it. And I got it in the first try, too. I got the RNG right away. And I still messed it up. Crap. I am rooting for the Seahawks tonight because the Patriots knocked us out. And it's not fair. The Patriots had a dynasty for like a decade, and they had 1 bad year. Like, come on. That's bullshit. You can't go from 1 bad year after a dynasty and then be in the Super Bowl again. What mods do I have prepared for Spider Mall? I don't. I don't pre-prepare mods. I haven't been doing my downline at all. But Tuesday is going to be an interesting day. Oh, come on. Like offense and crit chance probably for Maul, but I haven't pre-prepared a set. Why not R9 for the other two? The other two clones? The other two clones are R9. They were just used in a two-man team. Not getting the RNG. It's pissing me off because I had it on the first try. Error system just broke your guild. I get it, Kimmy. I thankfully, my guild, I haven't lost anybody to the error system. Come on. But I think that what the error system did is it actually compartmentalized spending in a way that people don't understand. Because for the Dolphins, not the Miami Dolphins, but for the Dolphins, who were doing the 7-day trick on eras, on Marquise, those players are actually spending about the same, if not less. And it's just that you're doing it over more transactions, so it seems like you're spending more. For the whales who are doing 1-day spending, they are spending more, which is kind of shit. You heard there was a guy in my guild recently who scored a ridiculous score in Coliseum? Yes. There was a guy who scored 150 million in Coliseum. He was in my guild. He was obviously cheating. We did a whole thing last week on Brunch. Moonborn even rewrote the Brunch song. And we banned him from the guild. We kicked him out. I don't know, he messaged one of my guys and said that it wasn't him and he's not sure what happened and he changed his password and blah, blah, blah. But according to SigSig, this guy was a suspected cheater in Fleet Arena a long time ago. And my guild doesn't screw with those kind of things. So we kicked him out. He was gone right away, and Ani was very happy about that, obviously. I think I messed it up again. Yeah, I did. Because I thought that CX2... I didn't think CX2 was going to kill him. That's the problem, and it did. Alright, at least I think I'll be able to get the 2 here. As long as I can get 2 here, I am happy. I don't care about the 3rd wave because I do enough. Yeah, he got removed within... we kept him that night. We kept him that night because I wanted to do it on Brunch and make it very known that that we don't handle and we don't tolerate those things. We are gonna do the Bad Batch battle. Why not? We're gonna load up hot utils again. Morning, Robert. I see you on YouTube a bunch. How you doing? He'll take your in where you can get. Hey. Now we just got to get Sin in, right? We got to get him in. Load my base and do that. But I don't have any. Well, no, we'll see. I don't have anybody right now that's on my chopping block, so we'll see what happens with Sin. To be clear, the better Sin, the older Sin, Not the Sin that really wants in, the other Sin. God, I am hungry. We starting that again, Sin? We doing a lyrics off again today? We pissing off the other Sin? I started using new batch on Zepho for the open CM now that my Gungans are needed elsewhere. I don't hate it. Let's load the bad batch. Are they farming their conquest units? I have no idea. I know they were complaining about it this morning. A duet, you say? I've heard it said that Sin came into my life. Inside I felt dead. My brain, it was full of strife. All right, we have our Bad Batch mods loaded. Let us see what is happening here. All right. Let us move over these gold. Top 2 for Coliseum. Are you wailing that hard on Coliseum? Damn. How long are we still having Order 66? They said about a year. All right, that looks like that has changed over. So they told us about a year, so we're looking at about like 5 or 6 more months. All right, we got one more raid run that needs to be done. This is a team I really wanted to bring to R9, and it just came out that we just didn't happen. I had too many other things that needed to get done. Sin, I gotta make my way over to you because I just feel like we would have so much time, so much fun. Honestly, I really do. I think we would be unstoppable in karaoke, is I think where that would go. And if I can do karaoke in Korea, I can do karaoke in Japan. Gosh darn it. Really? You're gonna really make me do that? R9 Tarkin Scorch at this point is kind of tough, in my opinion. I mean, I think it'll be great for your guild, but I also think that, like, you maybe aren't going to make out on it the same way that you would have if you did it, you know, months ago. Do I expect the era after Andor to be raid-related? I expect Andor to be raid-related. And I would not be surprised if Spider-Leg Maul is available in the raid. Like, I would not at all be surprised. Remember, last year it started with Bad Batch and Jocasta, which was the first team of the year. And I think that that's something that people need to remember. It doesn't always have to fully make sense. I don't actually need the score from this team, so I don't really know why I'm nervous about trying to get max or anything. Could you challenge Phil to another TB-related challenge, beat him, and make him Relic 9 as Young Han and Vander Chewy for the special... I love that I have Phil's guildmates coming in here trying to get him to do shit. Oh my god, hold on, I gotta screenshot that for him. Oh, that makes my day. That makes my day. Shadow, you are an R10 in my heart, man. You are one of the OG supporters here, and I appreciate that. I really do. You know that. Speaking of supporters, today is a great time for Amazon Prime subs. It's Amazon Prime Day. Support without spending money. Day one of asking Fat Phil. You know what would be really funny if we do that? Day one of asking Fat Phil to R10 Wampa. Just every day until he does it. He won't. Phil doesn't know how to have fun. That's the problem. Is he is incapable of fun. He is incapable of being semi like, oh, I'm going to enjoy my time a little bit. He just cannot do that. He is physically incapable of it. All right, we are going to reload my base mods. Yeah, Snorlax. Amazon Prime. I give mine away every month to somebody. Sometimes to Boat. Big Boat 777. I give mine to a lot. Three Scoundrels some months. And my only regret is because I'm not on Twitch as much as I would like to, is that I've been an Amazon Prime subscriber for so long, and there's so many months of just not giving it out, which is a shame. Who do I want to win the Super Bowl? I want, well, let me just see, base loadout load. I want the Seahawks to win because the Patriots knocked us out. And that, I mean, I didn't expect to win that game because we had our backup quarterback, but it doesn't matter. I still want them to win because the Patriots suck, and it's not fair that they have another good year after only one really shitty year. I appreciate it, Snorlax. I love, my favorite type of support is support that doesn't actually cost people money. M3, you have supported me. You sent me money for pizza once, you remember? And I was all mad because I had already bought the pizza. Do I have a video on how hot utils works? I have a private guild video on you can't look it up. I just did it quickly for my guild. I'll send it to you if you want. But it really only goes into modding, how to use the modding thing, because that's what my guild was interested in. It doesn't really fully explain hot utils because I don't honestly even really fully use hot utils the way that I probably should. Oh, dude. Shadow, I don't know why. My feed did not show that you did a super chat. I apologize, buddy. I think you left, but thank you. I don't know why. I do give it out freely, Xander. I honestly, I do. I am a slut. I have said so many times that I am the biggest flirt in the world. I could flirt with anybody. It's terrible. Let's see where my guild is at before we take a quick break and then do roster reviews. Yeah, and only 8 of them in place. I have the mass team to R9. Just reading guild chat. R. Option. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at guild chat and typing a few things. Hey, Caracol. Well, and bye. And goodbye. No, I mean, my guild's trying to figure it out now. But so the thing is, I'm not really mad about Hoth, because we did not tell people they needed to get it done by today. We actually told them they didn't. We are just kind of hoping, because it would give us that star there fairly easily, to have this done. So it is kind of like, oh, guys, like, let's not lose that star there. And it would help for the future anyway. So I'll have to reassess that when we get closer to the end. Let's check out. We're going to buy. Actually, I do need this stuff right now. Starting to get low. No, it's not filled. Look. Oh, it was filled. Oh, I lied. Hold on. It was filled. Who else could I do? Is my Ben platooned? I could do Ben. I think I could do Ben. Let's see. Disobey order. Is Ben here? Ben. Ufu. I don't remember if I deployed him somewhere else. Yeah, Ben is already deployed. No, I can't do Ben. I can't do Ben because I deployed Ben to Mandalore, I guess. And then what else? Malgus, I already did my Malgus. My Malgus is already in. R9 Maul. I think this person has it done. They just have to log in. R9 Maul, I could possibly do if we needed it. All right. Okay, well, that is everything that is in game. Primus and I actually trying to find a way to do the same thing with Death Star or Scarif. I know my guild wants to do Death Star. I think that with Hoth, it's just nicer because of the easy battle there. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, and then we will come back. We will do our roster reviews. I know there's a lot of you who have been waiting a long time to get some roster reviews in there. So we'll take a look at those. So give me like 2 minutes or so.
Rush to reviews. Egnards is having a break and taking a Rush to reviews. Talk talking to me, that what pack sex should sell to you. Ooh, to you. To you.
All right, we are back. M3. Dude, first of all, thank you. But second of all, I don't know. Streamlabs is being really weird today. And just like Shadow, it wasn't showing in my feed that he had posted something. So I don't know what's up with it today. It's not putting everything out there for me, which is quite annoying. But I appreciate it. You know, Amazon Prime subs are my favorite because they are free, and free support is the best kind of support. We have our reviews today. Let's get this stuff going. Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.gg, Flarrows. There we go. Let's pop these down. Let's check this one out. We're going to head on over to Discord. Roster review requests. I think Flarrow was here earlier. I don't know if he is still here, but I know that they were here. 140. Oh, there you are. Perfect. All right, let's see. Ooh. Love to check in when I can. Love the math. Love the voice. Oh, I thought you were going to say love the voice. Love the voice of reason and the humor. I love the voice. Useless but appreciated. Fleet top 10 mostly consists of 7-star Leviathans. Below that, it's lower star Leviathans or Executors, 1 or 2 Profundities. Usually I have to start my climb from place 10 to 15. That's kind of normal. But with my Executor, I can get up there. I don't always get there in time. Sometimes I fall lower, so I don't consistently get those sweet 400 crystals. There's no fleet Discord, or I'm not in it. To find your fleet Discord, reach out to somebody in the top 10. Ask them if there's a fleet Discord. I do actually have a video on how to do that if you don't know how to do it, because it is not intuitive. You can't just friend them from in-game. CG makes it hard. If you type in !fleet Discord on our Discord, it comes up as a command to show you how to do it. It's a very quick. Reach out to those people. They'll let you know if there's a Discord. And hopefully they won't be antagonistic. Most Discords are not, but we've seen like M3 and a few other people have pretty antagonistic Discords that can be a pain in the ass. Most I have experience with don't have that problem. Assault battles, Secrets and Shadows, CT1, 3 stars, CT2 sometimes. Notice Auto is better at the game than me. Very humbling. Sometimes for me as well. CT3, not yet. Recently applied an LST to GM. I don't know if that would help me here. GM can do Secrets and Shadows. I am not familiar with the strategy, though. I have used the old team to get it. I don't think Secrets and Shadows is a priority, though. It's something that you kind of get when you get to. The other ones are a little bit more important. The others are all CT3. I'm assuming Duel of the Fates is at R9. Paw Patrol, you have 0 investment in right now. Doing SK using the Empire Anniversary Lightspeed token on Mara Jade. Get the Stranger and Maul when he releases. For now, I think it'll get them, use them with JTR and Old Ben, which makes Leia go with Kyle and Mon Mothma. Interesting. Normally people use with Leia, they'll use like Radis and Jin because of the like little cheapness. Doesn't work as great on defense if you're using Leia on defense, but most people don't use Leia on defense. And Kyle, I don't know if I really like Kyle in a Leia team. Mon Mothma I like in a Leia team as an extra body. If you're using it on defense, if you have to use it, it's not the worst thing in the world to do. Then I would go for Profundity, then Balin Skull, then finish off a Great Mother's team, then a Captain Enoch team after that, reassess. Not set on full plan, SK is a must, though I do factor in sneaking in Vader and IG when they come out if they are good, and Maul, of course. So you're going to have Vader and IG anyway if you're getting Maul. How highly do you value efficiency? Rather highly, but at the same time, I'm aware my roster is lacking GLs, but I dread having to farm one right now. Wouldn't know which one. Proven Grounds, no priority to the pirate stuff. We'll get it when I get it. Close to Maz 300, not to SME 150. I will get 3 more LSTs from Maul, which you've already applied. I see you said that here. I've played my last 3 Maul LSTs. They're pretty about pals, so they're now doing the R5 tier. Cool. Wild card. Gungans together with episode LST. No episode pass, but doesn't lead me to much, as you said before. I have no LSTs saved. Instant gratification got me. If I had to go for a GL, Ray would be my pick. I lack defensive teams. Could use LSTs on Jacket Bros. I have Ben and EE Ezra Exile unlocked, but not geared. So we already know you're a 10.5 million account because yours is the first one that is up. We're going to just kind of get into it. But the first thing that I want to say is I know that GL can be very daunting things for people because they are bigger farms, but they are some of the best characters in the game. And I just really think that it is smart for most people to go after them and go after them pretty heavily. They are very, very, very Zeta dependent. They are very Zeta hungry. They can take a toll on the roster. But for me, I pushed one after the other because I just wanted to be done with it. And especially in this current Kyber meta, there's a lot of use for most of those GL, and they almost always are all going to get used between offense and defense. Sometimes not JML, but a lot of people do put Maz on defense, so it kind of works. I tend to use JML as like a button to turn off Omicrons, though, personally. 10.5 million, you're an Erodium 4, so you're going to start inching towards Kyber, right? Rank 8 with Executor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 GL is... It's not bad. When you said that you're really hurting for GL, I was honestly expecting you to say 3. And that's what I was bracing for. So this is not terrible. Ships, we have Leviathan. Leviathan is building itself up, which is good. Profundity, you don't have, but you mentioned it. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Don't you like to use... Exactly, M3. You get to use the fun Egnards emojis on Twitter then. Twitch. Holy shit. Mon Mothma, Cassie, and Jin. I mean, it's a nice team, though. Radis... So the nice thing, and I said this before, because you have Leia... Radis and Jin work really nicely with Leia for using her on offense because with everything, Radis can't die unless Jin dies. No, the other way around. Jin can't die unless Radis dies, but the computer pretty hard prioritizes Jin. So it makes it a really nice team if you have a Leia team, which kind of pushes you in that, hey, go for profundity corner already. Because you want those characters there, which will free up your old Ben if you need your old Ben for other things. It'll free up your Mon Mothma and Kyle if you need a mid-tier Mon Mothma team. I personally like my Mon Mothma team, but I understand it's not for everybody, and it does take a lot of modding to make the team do what you want it to do. Not useless, but not really worth it right now. Lord Vader, we're far from. It looks like you did get your Star Killer. Grand Inquisitor. It's so crazy that you have things like Afra, but then you're missing GL. Leviathan, Leia, Bo-Katan, Jar Jar. Honda, very far from. We're not prioritizing it. Balin, Ahsoka. Man. Did this not update because you said you got your guys to R5 and I don't see them R5 here? Right, I'm assuming that was maybe yesterday and this hasn't been updated in 20 hours. Did I read that? You already have Leia. What are you talking about? My next jail would either be Ahsoka or Leia. You have Leia. Leia's right here. Why would I not keep them all? Because I want to see specifically what each character needs. Okay. Right. So I want to see, I use carbonate circuit boards as my like baseline to get an idea. Right. So I kind of look at each thing and I go, oh, hey, gives me a little bit of an idea of where each one what is. If I keep them unchecked, it doesn't really tell me that on a character to character basis. No. I wouldn't do Rey next. Rey's too far. What I would do is I synced him, has its per. There you go. Look at that. Look at this guy over here. No, for some reason, the gear tracker tools. It might take the gear tracker a little bit longer to update because we're still here. Imperial. So it shows it here, but it doesn't show it in the gear tracker yet. Which is interesting. It might be because I have to like actually reload the page, maybe. No, I don't know. It might be a catching thing. I don't know. I just tried it. Didn't work. Doesn't matter. It's really not that important. I wouldn't go for Rey next. What I would do is it will materially benefit you to have Radis and Jin for your Leia team. And you'll have in 5s or in 3s, if you want to, you'll have a Rogue One team, which is a pretty good team. I would really push for profundity first. And it goes to some of my big advice. One of my biggest things of advice has always been the best time to farm a fleet is when you don't need a fleet. I know it's not that important to refresh it though. So I would definitely go after profundity next, just so that you can get your fleets done with. You can let those things refresh and get their free crystals over time as easily as possible. I would then go for Ahsoka. Ignore Rey. Rey is too far away and doesn't give you any return on your investment. Ahsoka has an event that at the R9 tier is just one of the best events in the game right now. And this 2100 circuit boards is obviously much less because your trooper, your death trooper, your night trooper, and your Enoch are all relic 5 now. I would get those guys up to relic 7 first because you might as well take advantage of the event while you're working on Ahsoka. But I would prioritize Ahsoka as your next big project. After getting a full best SK squad up, I would do the SK squad first just because you said, and I didn't look at this, but I'm going off of what you said here. You already have the Stranger, right? You are getting Maul. I don't know how close. 5-star Maul is. I think I said this before. I think Maul is going to be one of those characters that at least on offense will perform well, even under 7 stars. So you have Starkiller, or you have Stranger, you have Maul. Starkiller is getting up there with the Omicrons. He's already where he needs to be. So finishing the SK squad is fine. Do Profundity because you want to start that timeline on the free shards. But I would really strongly go for Ahsoka next. Nothing else matters. You will get an actual return on investment from her. You already have Ezra. You don't need to bring Ezra up until after you get to the point where you have Ahsoka, obviously. But that'll give you a beast mode team. And at that point, I don't know how much you spend. I don't know if you spend it all. But I'm assuming you're looking at like 4 to 5 months here doing all of this stuff. At that point, we know what's going on with Andor. We know what's going on with the raid. It doesn't really make sense to go further than that. But I think Ahsoka is your best bet right now. You already have Afra, So, like, if the IG-90 team ends up being great for you, you can choose to just bring up IG-90. You can use the LST from Coliseum. And look, at 10.5 million, I don't know if spending 5,000 points on Coliseum towards LSTs is the right answer. But I don't know if it's necessarily the wrong answer either. I think it's an iffy spot. But R10 is not really that materially important right now. So if you wanted to boost your Ahsoka quicker, that is something that you have the option of doing. GM team and Balin for after that, yes. GM is great. Secrets and Shadows past CT1 is not that important. And it is a good team. It's a great team to have. I love my Balin team. I love my Great Mother's team. But Profundity is going to start the clock for you. And Ahsoka is going to give you some actual return on your investment with a really high profile event. Really two, because you'll be able to get the Dead Boys to Relic 7 as well. That's what I would do with the account. Now, in between those things, if you have small things, like I said, if we find out IG-90 is really great, you already have Afra. So you can choose to pivot and bring up one character, right? You already have all of the Empire Squad things. So if Vader turns out to be amazing, all you have to do is bring up Vader. Your question is that you're in a spot to use them on characters that don't need Kairos or G12 characters. I would put them strong because you're still in a spot where some characters, you're still in a spot where some characters are still your like not G12 characters. I would put them on your Kyrotech characters first. I don't know what characters qualify for the Coliseum. I'm only going off chat here. But when we look at Ahsoka, General Syndulla is a new Kyrotech character. Great candidate. Huyang, great candidate, right? Huyang, I think there is another LST coming up though, a droid one. Let's see. Let's use Nooch's graphics, right? Because he is actually really great with these graphics here. So there's a droid LST coming up next week, it looks like, where you could, that's Huyang right there. Boom. So that's perfect. The free LST gets him to 7 stars, yes. What else? Bounty hunters. Are there any other bounty hunters in here? No, there's none here for these guys. Mandalorians. IG 12, you already have. So I think out of the free LSTs, the only one that you have here is Huyang. Just looking at it. But, you know, use General Syndulla. She is a Kyrotech character. Padawan Sabine, she is a Kyrotech character. I would always prioritize them on the Kyrotech characters first, because those are going to be the most expensive characters. I don't know if you can use it on Sabine. You might be able to. I honestly don't know. Technically, she should be. Is Padawan Sabine a Mandalorian? She is tagged as a Mandalorian. She should be eligible. You could, but think of it this way, Flarrow. If you have to get up 2 characters, right? and you're going to do one of them to get them up for this team and one of them to get them up for this team. And they're both going to be done in short order. Why wouldn't you use the token on the more expensive one? Right? Barris, much cheaper to quickly bring to G13. That would be my rationale there. Barris, super cheap to bring to G13 comparatively. And you are going to be in Kyrotech Premium. So it just makes so much more sense to isolate a character that is going to need it more. In the short term, it might feel like it's slowing you down by a week, but in the long term, it's going to speed you up by 2 weeks. Does all of that make sense? But you do, right? You do have, that's the thing. If you don't have a character like that in your immediate plans, then yeah, sure, you could do, if it'll speed you up, then I would do a cheaper character, even if it's not a Kyrotech character. But if you really think about your plans, you are probably always going to have a new age character that needs Kyrotech. Because once you start getting towards the end of Ahsoka, you need to start thinking about what's next. And I don't know what's next after Ahsoka for you right now, because we're looking at 4 or 5 months down the road. We're just starting a new era. We have 7 new characters coming to the game in Legacy in a week, and deciding which one of those are priorities. In that time, the game is going to be changed significantly. So I always try to look a couple farms, and as you start to finish Ahsoka, as you start to get to the end, you start saying, all right, what makes sense to go to now? Oh, there's some expensive characters here. Okay, so Profundities first. Do you use an LST to speed you up there? I would probably not. That is a good example. I would probably not. I would be working on this more naturally while applying the expensive tokens to Ahsoka. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Like, you're working on both, but you're working on this as your primary. I'm pointing to my screen, and I know you can't see my hand pointing to my screen. That would be cool, though. You're doing this as your primary, but while you're gearing this up the natural way, you are still working on Ahsoka and bringing the expensive characters. That's how I would do it. Ooh. Will Neo Bad Batch be in the new Era Coliseum tokens? It should. I mean, they should be. They'll be a year old at that point, right? All right. I think we're good, Flarrow. Yeah. Harry and David. What are all these emails? I think it's time. I think we can move on. I think we're good. And we're going to go to Sub, who I know is here too, or used to be here, but I know you have somebody coming into town, a friend coming into town, and you were here, but might not be. So Subdriven, whether you are here or not, you warned me that your account is in shambles, which kind of scares me, but let's see. Type of review, regular. Old man alert to not figure out the link. Fleet, I wait 2 hours. I get first if I have time. 3 to 9 if not. My daughter wants bedtime then. Daughter comes first. 100%. I agree with that every single time. I actually don't go. I don't get first most days. I usually get third. If I get third, I don't even bother doing a battle. If I'm in third place, I don't even bother. I just go, great, I'm in third place. Awesome. Waste of my time. Right now, Guild is pushing raid to 6K each. For I stopped everything to do a TFM Scorch R9. Now done. 6K each or 6 million each? I'm assuming 6KK, right? 6 million. Era, I'm 1 to 3rd every week. Haven't dropped this much since Jar Jar, and I'm crossing my fingers it's worth it, please. 2,200 Era currency a day? How that much per day? Don't you get 1,000 a day? Because there's no... You should have gotten all the rewards already. I don't know. Used multiple free tokens to get OG Bad Batch to get close to LV. If I have to R9 a Dark Clone and a TGM might as well, right? Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Conquest, I get every tune with work, but never miss one last... I get every tune with work, but never miss one last round. Okay. I'm stuck in GAC, and I feel I have parts of teams, but got stuck doing the next forced guild round. And I dropped the rest of the teams. R5 SK is not it when I'm doing Spider Mahal and Strangers. So many leftover tunes. Jeremy, I don't know if you know this. I don't want to burst your bubble. But that repeatable 250 Coliseum fight is just a... It's a visual bug as far as I'm aware. I haven't tested it myself, but I've been told it's a visual bug and you're not actually getting that that error currency. It's not a repeatable thing. It's a one-time thing. I know it shows it every time. Hey, Jedi Links. I'll give you a minute to be disappointed by that, though, unfortunately. I do still think 1,000 error currency a day is a lot, though. I did really good on my Zepho Guardian this morning, too. I did 3.1 million. It was very nice. Where are we in terms of GP? You just did Tarkin Scorch. You don't have LV. R5 Star Killer. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Conquest, I get every tune. But then you also told me your account was in a bad state, so I feel like you're higher than you should be. I'm going to say 11 million. 12.3. Hey, Knights. Knights, say knee. It's not a party till you're here. 12.3 million. Okay. All right, let's see. We're in Kyber 3. That's not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 GL. You are doing 6 million in the raid. Show the webpage. I am showing the webpage. It's right here. I didn't have it up on purpose because I wanted to play Guess the GP. Get 100 error currency on. All right, let's see. Our clones. What's our raid doing? Tarkin Scorch. Other clones are low. That's fine for now. Oh my god, I hate you. I hate you so much. Sub, man. Being at 12.3 million and not having the Duel of the Fate Boys at Relic 9. I think that you guys do this to me every week on purpose. You guys find an account that does not have the Duel of the Fate Boys, and you just beg them to get roster reviews to see me squirm. This is such a high... This is such a high return thing. Like... Oh my god. The Duel of the Fate Boys is like a requirement. It is one of those things that you should have. If you are, I think I've said this before, at around 10 million, it's mandatory to bring those two to R9. Imperial Remnant, not as much. Okay, so these guys, not as much, but it's actually insane to me. You have Relic 7 here. right? You have Relic 7 here, but not on the other one, which is crazy. Relic 5 Duel of the Fates, Relic 7 Peridia Patrol. Oh my god. Yes, Relic 9 Duel of the Fates is like, it should, you need to have Relic 9 Duel of the Fates. It is just one of those things that has to happen. Oh boy. All right, let's see. Ahsoka, you're right there. Look, I get it. I get this, right? You're so close to Ahsoka, so you're like, they're done. But like, Duel of the Fates should have been done 1.5 years ago. Profundity you have, Leviathan you have, Executor you have. Okay, Kylo, okay, Pop. I know that they're requirements. I'm aware that they're requirements. I get why he has them at R7. I get why he has them at R7, but Duel of the Fates should have been done before that. It is a much higher return on investment event. Lord Vader is close. Man, it just looks like you're in that position where you have to scrap things up. Like, that's the position you're in. I don't really give a shit about JMML right now. What would I say the highest return on investment event is right now? I mean, it depends on if you're looking at things in a vacuum. If you're looking at things in a vacuum, I think Duel of the Fates. If you're not, then I would say Ahsoka. Because Ahsoka gives you her R9 event, and it gives you Peridia Patrol. But it's much more expensive to get there. So it takes a lot longer. And by the time you get there, you will have made up a lot of your return on Duel of the Fates already. So I do still think Duel of the Fates is probably the highest return event in a vacuum. If you're not thinking about the cost to get things up, then I would just say like Ahsoka's R9 tier is better than that. You're in a position where you are just at like, let's get everything and let's focus on everything. And I know you're in a weird place with GAC and Starkiller, and you have all of these characters and Darth Maul. I think you spent a lot here, right? So 95 too. Fucking hell. There's a lot of extra spend. Fucking hell. Stranger, Starkiller, 7. Okay. If you are going to spend that much on Maul, I would make sure that your Starkiller team at a bare minimum is Relic 8. The whole thing as just the first thing that you do right now. I would get, personally, I'd get the Stranger and I would get Maul to R9 at least, but that's neither here nor there. I would do those first, because you have invested so much money into that team that you might as well make sure that that team is a powerhouse. Once your Starkiller team is finalized, you need to go right to Duel of the Fates. Right? Finish that. Well, no. Finish Ahsoka first, just because you're so close. Do Ahsoka first because of how close you are. Once you've done Ahsoka, that is when you're going to do a Duel of the Fates. Why go into R5? That's like $80 per unit for R2 to R6. I don't personally think it's worth it for me, AF1, because I have so much R1 to R7 relic material. But there are some whales who are in the mid-game where they just cannot buy those things fast enough. So they're paying a premium, but to them it makes sense in order to move faster. You just have to think of the different spending levels at different parts of the game. You know, and I've had that discussion with some mega whales where like some things might be limited and you say, hey, I can buy enough of this stuff at this price, but I'm willing to pay more if I can buy it unlimited. And that's kind of the mentality a lot of whales who are spending 85 to 95 are doing. But with this account, Subdriven, I would be doing Starkiller first, get that out of the way, get that team situated so that you don't waste your investment. I would finish Ahsoka next just because you are right there with Ahsoka. Then you are going to do Duel of the Fates right afterwards, right? Starkiller, Ahsoka, Duel of the Fates. At that point, honestly, you don't have that much left to do right? Between everything else, you have Lord Vader, you have, I think there was like 2 other things. You have Hondo, you have JML, Jedi Master Mace Windu. I would go for Lord Vader next, and then I would try to get his clones to at least Relic 7. Right? Just so you have that fundamental core Lord Vader team. It's not going to perform well on defense at Relic 7, but it will still give you a really fundamental, solid team to work with, and you're very close because of what you did with the Bad Batch, right? So you don't really have that much left. You're just picking up scraps at this point. Are you planning on investing this heavily in the Andor era, is my question. I think it is a very important question. You know, again, we've talked about the era battle, and I believe that the era battle right now is more of a rebate and less of a return on investment, and that is something that people need to kind of consider. Okay. So not planning to go as hard in the Andor era battle. All right. Or the Andor era. I think then that it just makes sense for you. I actually don't even know if this would change your plans at all. But I think that GAC is a short-term problem for you, and I know you're struggling right now. But you're so close to a lot of these things that it makes more sense to finish off these teams because there's still events related to them. So I would do Starkiller Ahsoka, Duel of the Fates, Lord Vader, finish clones to R7, and then I would do Hondo. Right? Hondo's relatively close. There's a resource management. There's a mod thing attached to him. Maybe by the time you get to him, the R9 tier will be finally available. But you will get a lot of benefit out of having all of those teams, and you will have basically finished up all of the return on investment that is currently involved in the game with events. That is the point where you can start to say, you know what? Now I am going to start focusing on piecing together these little things for my GAC bracket. But holy shit, man. Duel of the Fates at R5 is a cardinal sin. Like, it makes me sad to see. It makes me want to cry just a little bit. It makes me just, I'm like, I don't even understand, is what it comes down to. That needs to be rectified. And the only reason you are doing Ahsoka first is because of how damn close you are to it. Ooh. Spicy peppers. I'm making pizzas today with spicy tomato sauce. I'm putting some ghost pepper sauce in my tomato sauce. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I'm pumped for it. I'm ready to go. All right. Subdriven, you have anything else for me? At least R7 for Duel of the Fates? No, man, I know you're fucking with me, but it's R9. R9, always R9. That team has to be at R9 every single time, R9. All right. Okay, so then we're going to move on. I am going to just update the bot. I think so. Peridia Patrol, listen, Zavor, I know you're trying to troll me, but Peridia Patrol, I think, can stay at Relic 7. I personally believe it should be R9. But I think that it's okay to stay at R7 for a while. Right? That I think is fine. I don't think it's a mandatory thing to bring those guys to R9. But I do think it is a very worthwhile thing to bring them to R9. All right, let's move on. Let's try to get one more in here today. I think that if you're at the end game, you should always be factoring in free resources. Free resource generation is so important. All right, we got Lifesaber. I don't know if Lifesaber is here, but we are going to do theirs. It is 226-0-0. Top 20 of your fleet. There's an 80-20 split between Leviathans and Executors. Are you coordinating? Yes, I generally get first, and no one else shares a lockout with me. Assault battles look to be in order, except for Secrets and Shadows and Fanatical Devotion. Duel of the Fates is at R7, because of course it is. Prettier Patrol is at 0. Now, this is 2 weeks ago, so maybe that has changed. Currently finishing up Hondo, need less than 10 relic levels across 2 characters, just waiting on 7-star Kicks and Brutus. Not sure where to pivot after him, maybe unlock Balin, since I've been putting the random LSTs on his requirements. Also really close to LV. I also have some solo conquest gamers like Amidala, Stranger, Maz, Maul, who I haven't touched. Are you dead set on continuing? Open to any advice. How high do you value efficiency? Mostly efficiency. There is fun in being efficient. Are there any favorite characters? No. It does take a while to ROI, but remember, this game is measured in years, not days. That's very important. A lot of people look at that and they don't realize, like, I've been playing for nine years at this point, 9+ years. So I don't look at things as like, oh, it's going to take me 3 years to get the ROI. I look at it as it's benefiting my roster and I will get the return. Plus I do refresh that last year. Shards, getting Reva next rotation, SM33, nothing else too crazy. DS Ray is at 210. This is an interesting account. I have a feeling that it is a very efficient account. I have a feeling that we're doing pretty good and that it's actually lower than I want it to be. So I would normally guess somewhere around 12 million, but I'm actually going to guess 10 million here. 11.3. Okay. So not bad. Let us check this out. 11.3. We are in a Rhodium 3. How are our fleets looking like? We have Executor. We have Leviathan. It's finishing up. We have Profundity kind of sitting there, which is okay. Profundity can sit there. How are we doing on the era? Maul, 4-star 70. So we went kind of like the free-to-play, maybe spend some crystals route. Stranger at level 1. Gear 1 is a choice. Star Killer 5. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, you have Star Killer. You have Maul. Maul is G12. You'll be able to bring him to like mid relics. I would definitely prioritize bringing the Stranger up. And even if you can't use them as a defensive team, even using them as an offensive team, it'll benefit you. Let's see. Did he rectify this? No, he didn't. Duel of the Fates. I say this every roster review. This is one of the most important things that a roster can do is Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon. I really, really fundamentally think it's a mistake not to have these guys at Relic 9. And the longer you wait on them, it just makes it worse. If you're not using them elsewhere, you're not getting full value, Shara. You are very, very right, but they do work really well in TB. They're like a B team in GAC. I still find them to be useful. Is Stranger good on defense? So Stranger is interesting right now. Now, Maul is going to change that, right? It's going to make it even better. But Stranger with the right teams, people are saying, oh, the Stranger sucks on defense because Qui-Gon's beating him and Quadme's beating him and Night Sisters are beating him. None of it's beating him reliably, right? Every single team that someone has won with, I have lost with and won with. It is a very good defensive team, though his benefit really is on offense. You're right. We don't know what the economy is going to be like in 3 years. That's 100% true. But then we're playing the game based on fear. We're playing the game based on fear of the future. And if you play the game based on fear of the future, you're not going to win out. I'm telling you, as someone who is highly efficient, as someone who you guys come here to listen to talk about the efficiency, that a 3-year return on investment for that team is not actually that bad, especially when you consider it's not just about investment, it's also about passive resource generation. So you get those R9s that you are going to use elsewhere, but you're also generating some extra income every single month towards building up other characters a little bit faster. But back to this, I do think Stranger is worth investing in for you. It kills me that Quad May is not invested in. You have the boys. You have the boys at Relic 7. We need to get them to Relic 9. Quad May is just a killer GACT, a killer every area of the game team. And in 5s, there's some plug and play options, right? Like some people use Grandmaster Yoda, some people use Bad Batch Echo. You can throw in randoms. They're not going to be as great, but you can throw them in. Mace. I would really prioritize getting Stranger up, getting Duel of the Fates to R9, getting Quad May up as like 3 short-term projects. Beyond that, Hondo, you're still close to, okay? So Hondo, we're obviously going to finish out on. We're just waiting on some Shards of Brutus. Mace, we don't care about. Balin's a good team, but I just think all you do is you get a good 2 teams, really a team, because you get 3 of Balin and 3 of GM, and you have to do the rest. So it's like 1 full team, 2 half teams. Ahsoka's kind of far. Jar Jar, we don't care about. R.I.P. Sad day. Profundity. We have Jabba. Lord Vader is very close. All right, we're going to check out those clones in a second. Let's see what our clones look like. Clones we haven't even started. Damn. Wow. Okay, so LV you're close to, and I want to say go for LV, but the reality is that LV does not really come into his own until you have these clones done, and it's going to take you a while to get these clones down, and they are not accelerated yet. So I don't think you should finish Lord Vader really until you're in a position to start working on these guys. We are in February. When did... Let's see. Release schedule, Oppo. When did Oppo come out? Not until April. So we're looking at 2 months before they even start to become accelerated. And I don't normally tell people to wait until acceleration, but the reality is you're looking at 3 months on top of that. The raid is going to be finishing. So I don't think LV is the smartest choice right now. I think your next big project should be Ahsoka. Big project. So the next thing that you should be working on as like this is my big project. You can get Enoch, you can get Peridia Palace to R7 for their event, which I know some people hated before, but now Ahsoka has her own event too, and it's a great event. I think it's smarter to start targeting Ahsoka as your major farm. And then Stranger, Duel of the Fates to R9, and Quad May as your like smaller interim farms right now. Let's see what else, if there's anything else. What are the other ones we haven't touched? I know you have them here. You wrote it down. Amidala, Stranger, Maz. Maul, I don't think needs to be touched right now. Maz, I mean, listen, if you're going to be getting Hondo, I think that it is worth bringing up Maz because the team is useful. So because you're going to be getting Hondo, you have all of the pirates. I know SM33, you've probably got 2 months until he's finished. And he's going to be part of that split there. But Stranger, Duel of the Fates, Quadme, Maz, and then SM33 when he becomes unlocked, though I would... Actually, you can't even accelerate him yet because he's not in there yet. So Stranger, Duel of the Fates, R9, Quadme, those are your primary short-term farms. Maz should be your secondary short-term farm once Hondo is actually unlocked. But your next GL should be Ahsoka. And once you start getting into May, June, I would start slow farming the Lord Vader clones. Right? Super important, honestly. What's the next place to spend crystals in after already doing 100 refreshes? Is it shipments for what? What are you trying to get? Depends, right? Remember, also, guys, if you need it, we have my crystal income calculator. It is pretty decked out, speaking of crystal spending, right? Get all of your income, get everything that you need. It's in read-only mode right now. Fill out expenses. You can figure out your notes, your income, whatever you need to do for your daily crystals and all of that good stuff. And that is on Discord, and it is in one of my recent videos as well. For signal data, once you get past the hundreds, buying it from shipments is not necessarily the best way, but it's the best short-term way. I like to... I'm just booting up my game again, which is loading in front of my camera like it always does anytime it loads. Swugga. There we go. So when I know I'm going to need signal data, I try to look for daily deals where signal data is the primary item, which will give you a little bit of a cheaper than store refreshes. But then also there's that $14.99 pack, which is not here right now for crystals. The $14.99 pack is something that I recommend buying every single time it comes around. But obviously those things are not to be relied on. Daily deals, it could take weeks for you to get the daily deal that works well for you. And if you need it short term, then yes, I mean, I buy from the store sometimes. I buy signal data, not frequently, but it is something that every once in a while I've got to end up paying for. Let's see what the guild is doing here. Okay, good. Yeah, anytime your daily deal has it as the main thing, right? As the main source, as the main item, then it is worth it. I heard if you stop buying the gear for credits, the daily deals tend to give more signal data. There are a lot of conspiracy theories about how daily deals work. The only thing that we've definitely proven is that your favorite characters do influence your daily deals. We don't know how much it influences it, but we do know that having favorited characters does influence daily deals. It doesn't fully guarantee anything, but if you just favorite a few characters that only need signal data, you might receive signal data shipments a little bit more often. Again, I don't know how much it benefits, but I know that it does influence it to some degree. I don't see one for you, Jedi Links. I don't see a review for you in here at all. Like, I know your Discord name. Jedi Links. Add search filters. And roster review requests. Author type. Did you even put one in? I don't see one. Filters, no. How do I pick them though? I just go in order of on my Discord. On Discord, there's the roster review section, the roster review request section. And if you go to the roster review request section, there is a piece. I'm going to link right here. I'll copy link. If you go there, that is how you request them. And I just go right in order of that. All right, so I got to see what's going on with our targets for TB. Welcome back, user. Okay, we need 30 million here. We have 227 left. Somebody decided to do one of those things. I need a keel to get his in. We've got our one there. I have to think about this too. We have about 30 here. We have about 30 here. Okay, we are going to, do I want to take this to 600? No. I want to pause this, actually. Prohibit engagement here. And I want this. We have 43, so there's about 10 million left here. So first, we're going to bring this to 715. Okay. $715, and then Mandalore. You shouldn't need deploys. We might need deploys. That's about 8 million here. This we're gonna say next is 390. Next 390 here. So that'll get us back to 42, which is nice. And then there's 40 million each for this. Oh, 80 million each. Man, if we get those, I won't even need deploys here. We're going to just see what happens there first before I do anything. Do my members get priority on roster reviews? Yeah, if you're a Buy Me a Beer member, there is a premium review thread. And I always look at the premium review thread first. Obviously, I'm not Arnold, I'm not Nooch, I don't have, and that's not even, I'm not saying that in a bad way, I just mean I don't have like 30,000 people, so my memberships are not anywhere near that, so most weeks I don't have a members review to do, but I do always give them priority in the premium feed, but I go through my requests just one at a time. I just drop down, I try to do 3 or 4 a week. You know, they're time consuming. They take a lot of my mental acuity. And by the time I finish 3 or 4, I do get tired because I'm just talking about people's rosters. But I try to get through them. That's what it comes down to. And, you know, I do them. You do them for free, but you do them for tips. But I don't want to put anybody out. My favorite type of support is free support. That is Amazon Prime subs. That is sharing my videos to your Discord, to your guild's Discord. You know, if there's a pertinent video, to talk about it on Reddit or the event server, because that is, you know, that's exposure, and exposure is important in this game market, I guess. Yeah, I manually focus the GPs. I'm very focused on how we do our GPs for for the event. And obviously we're not doing super great this time, but we also have changed we've also changed our strategy, and we need to adjust to that new strategy, right? And that's kind of what it comes down to. Let's see. I want to just check something real quick. See some people typing. 122. No, you know, we're actually going to pause on any other roster reviews today because my voice is already very tired. And I do have things that need to get done before the Super Bowl today. So I think that is a morning for us. I think we are where we need to be for the week. Some interesting stuff coming up in the future that I cannot necessarily talk about right now. Hopefully I can talk about it in the near future. I do appreciate everybody showing up for brunch. I enjoy doing brunch. It is one of my favorite times of the week. I enjoy making the stream look better for you guys and being silly and having fun and having you guys resonate with that. I know that we did not do egg draws for a little while. We will get back to egg draws, but egg draws also takes a ton of mental energy as well, because I'm terrible at drawing and I have to focus on that. I know. Egg draws is great, Shara. Next week. We'll do egg draws next week. It is one of my favorite bits, but it does take a lot of time, effort, and energy. All right, we are going to raid out. The only person I see online right now within our space, he's playing raid, though, is Nooch. I know some of you have strong feelings about Nooch. I don't dislike the guy. I have opinions on both sides of that, but he's a nice gentleman. I've had private conversations with him. So we're going to raid on over there. We're going to say hi. If you have something nice to say, say something nice. If you don't have to say something nice to say, then I guess just don't join us on the raid, because just remember, all of us, we put ourselves out there. Troll him a little bit. You want to troll him a little bit? That's fine. Let's troll him a little bit, but in a friendly way. But with that, peace out, guys, and have a great rest of your day.